The Mazda CX-70 looks like one of the smartest buys in the mid-size SUV segment right now, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. If you're seriously considering one, there are 6 things Mazda isn't going out of its way to tell you, and at least one of them could make you walk straight past it on the showroom floor. Because while the CX-70 is genuinely impressive in many ways, it's not perfect, and here are the reasons why. Number 6. Uses premium fuel only. Mazda's philosophy has always centered on delivering more than the price tag suggests. Walk the showroom floor and the CX-70 will feel like a vehicle that costs considerably more. The quality of the materials, the precision of the build, the way everything fits together, it's all there. But here's where that premium DNA starts showing its true colors. Both the 280 horsepower and 340 horsepower turbocharged inline-6 engines are running on premium fuel only. Think about what that means every time you pull up to the pump. You're not just paying for the SUV. You're committing to a higher fuel bill for as long as you own it. If you're averaging 15,000 miles a year, the difference between premium and regular unleaded is going to add up to several $100s annually without anything changing in your driving habits. That said, these engines aren't asking for premium fuel without giving something back. The turbocharged inline-6 is genuinely smooth, refined, and capable in a way that few mid-size SUVs can match. The 340 horsepower S-Trim version is reaching 60 miles per hour in just 6.2 seconds. Impressive by any standard in this class. So, while the fuel requirement is a real ongoing cost, most drivers are going to find it easy to overlook it once they've spent some time behind the wheel. The premium fuel bill is manageable, but if you're planning to put this SUV to work, the next reason is going to hit considerably harder. Number 5. Plug-in hybrid can't tow as much. The plug-in hybrid version of the CX-70 is shaping up to be the most talked about powertrain in the lineup. Good all-electric range, strong combined output, and significantly better fuel economy. On paper, it's the most well-rounded option available. But here's the trade-off the brochure isn't going to shout about. Anyone who regularly pulls a boat to the water on weekends or moves a trailer across state lines a few times a year knows that towing capacity isn't just a number on a spec sheet. It's the difference between a vehicle that works for your life and one that doesn't. Standard turbocharged models are capable of pulling up to 5,000 pounds. The PHEV's towing rating is coming in noticeably lower, and for buyers planning to tow any kind of significant load on a regular basis, that gap is going to matter. You're choosing a powertrain partly for its efficiency credentials, and those credentials are genuinely impressive, but efficiency and hauling capability don't always pull in the same direction. In this case, the plug-in hybrid is making a trade-off that not every buyer is going to be comfortable with. If towing is anywhere near the top of your priority list, the gas model is the more practical path forward. The PHEV's towing limitation is a problem for a specific type of buyer, but the next reason affects every single person who gets behind the wheel, every single day. Number 4. Ride can sometimes be firm. The CX-70 is designed to feel different from the average mid-size SUV. Mazda isn't going for that soft, floaty character that prioritizes comfort above everything else. Instead, they're chasing something sharper, more connected, and noticeably more athletic. And for the most part, they're hitting that target. The chassis is genuinely impressive. The handling feels precise and planted. On smooth roads, the CX-70 is carrying itself more like an overgrown sports sedan than a family hauler, and that's an enjoyable thing for drivers who appreciate feeling the road. The problem starts showing up when the road surface deteriorates. Because after a long day, the last thing most drivers want is a vehicle that reminds them of every pothole and expansion joint on the way home. That's exactly what the CX-70's suspension setup is doing when the pavement gets rough. The same tuning that delivers impressive cornering composure is also transmitting road imperfections directly into the cabin. It's not alarming, but it's a firmness that accumulates over longer drives. Rivals like the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Kia Telluride are offering a considerably softer, more cushioned experience. And coming from either of those, the CX-70's ride is going to feel like a real adjustment. A firm ride is something you can adapt to over time. But the next issue isn't about comfort, it's about something far more frustrating. A system you'll be fighting with every time you get in the car. Number 3. Complicated infotainment system. Most brands are currently moving in the same direction: larger touchscreens, simplified menus, and more intuitive controls. The Mazda CX-70 is going in a somewhat different direction, and it's creating friction that not everyone is going to tolerate. The CX-70 is coming with a 12.3-inch display as standard, but unlike most rivals, this screen isn't functioning as a traditional touchscreen by default. Mazda is routing most controls through a rotary dial and a cluster of buttons on the center console. The intention is to reduce driver distraction, and in theory, that's a reasonable goal. Here's where it becomes a real problem for everyday use. Imagine trying to switch a navigation destination, adjust the audio, or locate a specific setting while keeping your eyes on the road. With a conventional touchscreen, muscle memory takes over quickly. With this system, you're working through a series of rotary inputs and button presses that take considerably longer to learn than they should. You can enable touchscreen functionality through the settings, which helps considerably with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the fact that it isn't the default mode is a design choice that tends to frustrate more than it impresses. Number 2, transmission can hesitate to shift sometimes. There's a certain expectation that comes with a turbocharged inline-6 paired to an 8-speed automatic. You expect the shifts to be fast, crisp, and decisive? Most of the time, the CX-70's transmission is doing exactly that. Refined on the highway, smooth in everyday traffic, well matched to the character of the engine. But most of the time isn't always. At lower speeds especially, this gearbox is showing a tendency to pause before committing to the next gear. The system can feel like it's briefly searching, uncertain about where it wants to be. It's not constant, but it's noticeable enough to interrupt the composed, polished experience the rest of the vehicle is working hard to deliver. The paddle shifters are there for manual control when you want it, but even that system isn't immune. The transmission can occasionally be slow to respond to paddle inputs, which undercuts the purpose of having them in the first place. At the price range this vehicle is occupying, reaching up to $58,000 at the top end, a gearbox that second-guesses itself is a detail attentive drivers are going to notice regularly. The hesitant gearbox is frustrating, but wait until you hear the biggest reason of all, because this one is going to make you question the entire purchase from the ground up. Number 1, CX-90 costs about the same. This is the question sitting at the center of every CX-70 buying decision, whether shoppers realize it or not. The CX-70 is a well-built, sporty, and genuinely premium SUV, and the pricing is reflecting all of that. Base models are starting at around $43,000, with the range running up to $58,000 depending on trim and options. But the most pointed comparison isn't coming from a rival brand. It's coming from Mazda's own lineup. Here's something worth sitting with. If you're spending $50,000 or more on a vehicle for your family, the question of how many people it can carry isn't a small one. School runs, road trips, visiting family. Extra seating isn't a luxury for most buyers, it's a necessity. And the CX-90, sharing its platform, powertrains, interior design, and overall driving character with the CX-70, is sitting at a nearly identical price while bringing a full third row to the table. For buyers who specifically prefer a 2-row configuration, the CX-70 has a place. But for anyone who doesn't have a specific reason to avoid 3 rows, the CX-90 is going to be the more logical purchase at the same budget. The CX-70 is genuinely capable, but when its closest competition is an almost identical sibling with more utility at the same price, the case for choosing it over the CX-90 becomes a very difficult argument to close. The Mazda CX-70 is far from a bad SUV. The inline-6 engines are powerful and refined, the handling is genuinely impressive, and the interior quality punches well above the price point. But premium fuel requirements are going to follow you to every gas station. The plug-in hybrid is giving up towing capability that working buyers can't afford to lose. And a suspension tuned for sporty handling is delivering a ride that not everyone is going to find comfortable on rougher roads. Add a complicated infotainment system with a steeper learning curve than it should have, a transmission that occasionally hesitates when you need it to commit, and a sticker price that puts it within arm's reach of the 3-row CX-90, and the picture becomes a lot more complicated than the showroom experience suggests. And yeah, you might think that for a bit more money, you can get a genuine premium product like the Genesis GV70. But if you check out our next video, you'll find out that despite the premium badge, vehicles like these also comes with serious drawbacks. From the cramped second row to the lack of hybrid option, the GV70 may not be as great value as many like to believe.